What we're going to do today is a request from Fritzy family to do this blue eye from this MetalMatte palette. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. It's Mary and Fritzy family. If you're not part of the Fritzy family, it's really easy. Just hit the subscribe button below. I love that very much. Don't forget to hit the bell for a reminder and give me a big thumbs up, okay? This is the third time now we're going to be doing this video. Yeah, if it doesn't happen this time, it's not. I've been requested by one of the lovely Fritzy family to do a blue eye using the Kat Von D MetalMatte Palette, and so that's what we're going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix Too Faced Hangover. I have a sample here. Everybody seems to love this, and then I'm going to mix it with this L'Oreal Magic Lumi and go all over my face with it. Next, I'm going to use this, my absolute favorite from the drugstore, my Artiste brush. I go to the UPS store the other day to get my mail, and I haven't been doing that a lot because my son, he works in the plaza where my mailbox is. So a lot of times I will just say, text him if I get a notification that there's a package, and I'll say, hey honey, can you pick up mom's package over at the mailbox? So now until this happened, I was going to get them all, and everyone in the store knows me. And they'll be like, hi Glitzy, when I go in. And okay, so this day I go to get it myself, and this girl, she don't know me. So, and she's young girl. I said, I don't know you, because most of the girls, when you go in there, they know me, so they just already they go, hi Glitzy, and then they just get my mail for me. She doesn't know me, so she doesn't do that. She just stands there, and I say, you're new to me. I am box 115, can you get my mail? She looks and says, you don't have any mail. I said, yeah, I do. I got a notification that said I had mail. She looks and she comes back and she goes, oh, you do have mail. And she said, yeah, I don't know you because your grandson usually picks up your mail. And I'm like, now I don't even have time to think before words start blooming out of my mouth. And I'm like, grandson? He's 20 years old. You just said I looked old enough to have a grandson who was 20. And she doesn't get that she just insulted me. She really doesn't understand this. She then responds and says, isn't he your grandson? No. And you just said that I looked old enough to have a grandson who was 20 years old. And she goes, I went to school with him. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you were not the valedictorian either. But at her age, I did say similar stupid remarks. However, I did know that, after somebody, usually as soon as it was out of my mouth, I knew I did it. She just never did seem to grasp that she insulted me. Okay, we're practicing for plastic surgery here. I am marking all the spots that I would like to have cut off. No. Anyway, it did remind me of a time when I did something similarly stupid. But, you want to haul the words back into your mouth after you've said something like that. Of course, she doesn't, because she never did get what she did. So, when I was 18, that was 1980, and I worked downtown. You guys know, you've heard it 1,001 times. I was working at Farm Bureau, and back then, if you are my age or older, you remember this. But, back then in the 80s, it was just like new for women to be in an executive kind of position. My boss, my direct supervisor, was a woman. And in 1980, that was pretty impressive that she could be this high up. And who she reported to directly then was this guy I'm going to tell you about, who was like the vice president. And so anyway, my desk sat right outside her office, and there was this column that kept me from being viewed from his office. And it's his birthday. So he comes out of his office, and his friends are all waiting on him at the elevator, which is right in front of my desk. And one day, I got tons of stories from this place. One day I'll have to tell you about the whole mean girl thing that went on there for like over a year because of my age. Because I was 18, but everybody else on the floor was 35 and up. That was just, you had to work there a long time to get to the executive floor. They didn't just hire people right out of high school like they did me. Anyway, so boss man comes out of his office, and like the column is right here. It's a big column, so it's wide enough to cover a person, and I don't see that he's there. He's right by the on the other side of my desk. And I asked the girl next to me, how old is so-and-so today anyway? She says, he's 40. And then I said, and it was like everybody shut up. Everybody in the office just shut up at the same time. And I said, oh my gosh, if I ever get to be 40 years old, somebody just shoot me in the head. The next day I was 40. And he comes around the side of the front where I can see him now, and I'm like, ugh. He was beet red. It was awful. But point being, I knew that I had said something insulting. This girl, it's like she doesn't even know that what she did was insulting. I don't look old enough to have a grandson that's 20. Right? Okay. I hate brows. I feel like I'm the world's worst at brows. And I always set my eyebrow pencil with powder. And I take the blonde on the front, and then I use the brunette on the back. And I'm just going over where I went with that pencil and setting it. And I know they look awful, but I'll shape them back the way I want them in a minute. Then I actually use this YSL Radiant Touch, or whatever it is, pen, and I'll clean it up and make them a little thinner and look, I think, more acceptable. Shave the front of those off a little bit. I start back here and come forward. So how many of you guys remember, like in the 80s, like I was saying, women were just coming into their own, and they were getting, choosing other professions. But there were still a lot of girls who were going through school to be a secretary. The game plan was you know, much the same as in the olden days, where you're going to go to school, you're going to be a secretary, you're going to graduate. If you don't marry your high school sweetheart, you'll find your husband at the office, and then you will get married, have babies, and quit your job. Pretty much what I did for a while. Anyway, so one of the things then in school that we were taught, I went to an extra school for secretarial, and this is how I ended up working at Farm Bureau prior to them. But they used to have a woman come in, and she would teach you cosmetics, and individually how to do your makeup. And my problem that she had with me was my protruding lower lip. So I'm going to show you how she told me to fix it. So basically what you do is you come on your bottom lip with a lip liner, and you draw it. Always make sure you connect your upper and lower lip. Now, of course, this is to make me more beautiful so I can get a husband at my job. Then to cut my lip, she wants me to make a triangle in the bottom of my lower lip with the pencil. So I cut this way and this way. So I am essentially darkening the middle of my lower lip. This will make my lower lip appear smaller. Then I'm going to slightly over-exaggerate the top. I'm following the line but going just outside it. Lips are proportionate. And, I can remember back then, you were successful if you managed to get a husband and you could quit your job. The two of you could live happily ever after on his income, and you stay home and take care of the kids. Okay, problem solved. Now I'm gorgeous and can get a husband. Okay, so I know you guys remember this. I know you guys remember like home ec class and being taught how to cook and how to sew. I was terrible at sewing. I was so terrible. Like my tennis dress looked nothing like a tennis dress. It really didn't. But sewing is not my niche. I tape and staple my clothes together. Okay, so here we go with the star of the show. What do you say we'd use this fun brush? This was the Kat Von D Shade and Light brush that I never use for some reason. It's like a novelty. I know why, because it's dead and it's in its coffin. That's why I never use it. First, let's get bone and come all over the lid. I'm also just tapping into the corner here to brighten this up a little bit. I'm going to take my brush and just one swipe through oak, which is brown, and I'm going to come into my crease. Very light. Now you'll see me dipping my head down. There's a mirror right here. I'm going to dip my head down to make sure I'm coming straight across. And you gals with hooded eyes, this trick works really good for you. To actually come up higher than your crease. Returning to this Shade and Light, I'm going to just take the tip of it and come right through Velour, which is a matte blue. And then right where my crease and my lid come together, right here at the bottom, I'm going to drag it across there. Returning to my blending brush, I'm now going to come in here and sweep very lightly across it so that I am blending velour into oak. See how strong that is? And you saw how faintly. I mean, this palette could last you for so long. Hey, here's where things are gonna get interesting. Now we need a shader brush. So let me just grab this little one by Posh. And I'm gonna come into Nebula. Did I call that Nebula earlier? Now these shades, they do not need Fix Plus or anything to help them. But you could if you wanted to. But I'm going to take this now and pat it all over my lid right up into velour. I can hear my friend, little poet, Susan, right now saying, "Oh, scary." Now I'm going to come and I'm going to blend this color up into velour. Let's get just a tiny bit more of oak because I blended it out a little bit more than I wanted. And bringing it across. I'm going to come back into velour. And now I'm going to come on the outside corner of this eye and drag up. I'm not going to come all the way over. I'm going to come into Ignite underneath my eye, but not to the corner. I'm going to get Glitz and come into the corner of my eye. And bring it to meet Ignite underneath. Alright, so I'm cleaning off that shader brush. I'm going to pull Glitz a little this way into Nebula, clean it off, and now let's go into Ignite. I'm gonna dip around to Ignite, so I got quite a bit on there, bang that off. And in the middle of my eyelid, I'm going to put Ignite. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Back and forth. See how that brightened that up right in the middle of my eye? It's a different color blue. So all that's left now is the thing that pulls this eye look all together and makes it look not so scary. And that would be the mascara and eyeliner. So I'm going to do that, zip my lip so that it goes quickly. But So this is that blue eye with the KVD Metal Matte Palette as you asked for, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. So if you're not having a blessed day, please go out and be a blessing to somebody else. And until next time, love you, see ya, bye, and I'm out.
Metal Matte Palette. Yes, this was a request from from Fritzy. It was a request for Fritz. Yeah. I could do a commercial. This would be on the Wet n Wild display. No, I'm sure Wet n Wild would think I was too old too. You said it's his birthday. No, 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 no. Happy birthday to you. No, 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 no. From the idiot at the desk who insulted you. Oh boy, I need to work on better songs. And color outside the lines. That's why it's okay that my lipstick is not perfect. Did I just give you the finger again? Yes! Do the switch, twitch, switch, twitch. That's the way we get rid of this. We do the switch, twitch, switch, twitch. That's the way we get rid of this. Whoa! Kat Von D, metal matte, metal matte, metal matte, metal matte, metal matte. I don't know why I did that. What is this thing I have on? What is this thing I have on called? A shirt. It's called a shirt, Mary. Because now we're going to get glitzy. Yeah, I'm just going to call it what she intended. She intended to name that shade after me, Glitzy, for Glitzy Fritzy. But the printer made a mistake and dropped the Y. So, I'm going to do it because it's my party and I'll paint if I want to. Paint if I want to. Paint if I want to. This is a little microphone, so I'll get this one instead. Yeah. Did you hear me louder with that one? It's a different color blue, and you can do it too. Hashtag world's greatest rhymer. World's greatest rhymer. World's greatest rhymer. That's not going to be a song. Oh my gosh, you guys. There's like gray away on my ears from when I sprayed. And you guys are going to let me go out like that. What's wrong with you? Letting me go out with gray away on my ears? I've done it before. I have brown ears, and nobody said anything.